to the business meeting of Verona Borough Council for Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Kenna.
President Trabicki Bell.
Here.
Mr. Conti.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Ms. Luavo.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
Ms. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich.
Here.
Mayor Recupero.
Here.
Mr. Alexander.
Here.
Mr. Pitch.
Here.
And I am also here.
Okay, council will now hear comments from the public. We're going to make some adjustments because some things came up and we don't want to hold everybody to our meeting if that's conducive. So, Mayor, do you want to do your presentation first?
Sure. Here's a business in Verona that's been here for many years. It's a family business, Conco Systems, Conco Service Corporation, and their world headquarters is over on Jones Street. I'm sure everybody has passed by it and wondering, what is that business? They own 3 buildings in the town, and I just would like, along with County Councilman Nick Fatolis is here, we'd both like to give you a proclamation. And but George Saxon Jr., if you would like to stand up and briefly explain what Conco was and the employment and what have you and what you do.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, the Honorable David Cooper. Conco Services Corporation moved to Verona in 1981 from the west end of Pittsburgh. And so we've been here approximately 39 years now. And our business is to provide equipment and services to the power generation industry, to the oil and gas energy market, and also to petrochemical and refining markets. So in our buildings here in Verona, we manufacture products that are used for cleaning condensers and heat exchangers. And for those of you that don't know what a condenser does, it takes cooling water from a supply like the Allegheny River, and it cools the steam in the plant, and then the water is discharged back to the original supply. But it leaves mineral deposits in the tubes. And so our products clean those tubes. But what's unique about them is they're fundamentally sound in their engineering design. And so they can be used in similar heat exchange components throughout the world. And in fact, we're being recognized for our export capability, and we have applications in literally about 49 different countries of the world. We have 3 foreign subsidiaries, one in Belgium, one in Germany, and one in Australia. And then we have additionally a network of distributors in some 17 other countries. And we have a guest here tonight, Vargas. Vargas, if you would please stand up, from a company called Walco in Qatar. So Vargas is visiting us. Thank you. Vargas is visiting us this week, and so we thought it would be great for him to come along as a demonstration of that export capability that we have. In addition, at our facility back on Selden Avenue, every 2 years we host an international expo. And that international expo brings in about 25 of our partner companies and our subsidiaries to Verona. And we are here for 3 days working. They come to Conco University where we teach about our products and our applications. We also then host technical sessions where they talk about the applications in the different plants throughout the world and how their experiences either parallel one another or complement one another. They learn from each other. So that has been going on for some time. In fact, also in the international department here on a daily basis, we have 2 young ladies of original Brazilian background and culture, Lilia Brew, and also Sarah Silva. And they are here and communicating to the international marketplace on a daily basis on behalf of Conco and on behalf of Verona, Pennsylvania, and they invite others to attend. And also, you may know that we're a family business, and we were recognized in 2018 for a Family Business Award. And my mother Frances is here, and she is the treasurer of the company, and my sister Regina, who is the president of Field Services, and Greg Saxon, who is also a subject matter expert and special projects president. So all of them have been supporting work into the international marketplace. So today, for example, which is Tuesday, May 14th, we had 106 technicians mobilized throughout the United States. We had another 34 technicians mobilized in international markets. And of the 30 are offshore, but of the 106, many of them come from this community. And we are continuously looking for good people to help us grow the company, because we know that however great the company is, it's absolutely nothing without the great people who make it happen. And with the support of the community, we think that we can find those people and put them to work in places all over the world. So it's very exciting for us to be recognized for what we've done in the export markets. And it's also very exciting for us to be a member of this community for as long as we have been. And we've watched the changes as it's developed, and it's a very nice place to be. And we remember when, I think it was Dave Barnett said it's the spot that's more than a dot. And Verona is a very fine place. And of course, I have a classmate on council, Ray Suchovich, as well. We graduated in the class of 78 together. So, and also, I know that Janet's son is married to my niece. But nonetheless, it is a very small world. And the chief here fingerprints me every 2 years. I will let your imagination. But it's absolutely necessary to have a clear background in FBI and qualification to achieve some of the status that we achieve and to have access to some of the plans. Now, I'll have you know that my wife and my daughter are also here tonight, Beth and Mara, and the first house that I ever owned was right up off of Center Avenue, and it was an old stoner house, and bought that in 1982, I think it was, and it's where I actually got engaged to my wife.
You were looking for her.
And so later we spawned Mara. Also, I believe after we left Verona, we went into Oakmont for a couple of years, but then we moved to Hampton Street in Highland Park, and I think that's where we may have had a similar address as Nancy Carpenter. I don't know. Did you live on Hampton Street, Nancy?
I did.
Yes, absolutely. So we are 5542.
Oh my God.
Yes. So it's a very small world, and thank you for recognizing us. And if there's something that we can do for the community, you just let us know what it is, and we'll do it. And if there's something you can do for us, don't hesitate. Don't worry, we'll be asking. So thank you very much. Absolutely.
I can get some good pictures there. Put George in the middle.
Just duck down. Fall to the floor. facing away.
Can I take one? Jared, do you want to get the picture?
Carrie goes. Do I want to be in the picture?
Jared, do you want to get the picture?
My shirt? President of council should be in this picture.
Just don't make
With
me
council.
Yeah, so I can send this to the trip.
Out of the picture, should be all in the picture. This is council.
Yeah, this one.
Everybody should come behind us.
Don't come to
Stand up.
Yep.
We're gonna have a great photo opportunity. Thank you.
And I can't see it.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Well, there's the moment of silence.
Stay up here.
So,
This is yours.
You know, George was talking about, he went to school with Ray, I went to school with his sister Jenny back in 1907, I don't believe it's that.
95.
I've known the Saxons probably for 40 years, I've done work for them, my son does work for them now, a great family. And congratulations to not only you, but to your international team.
yes, thank you.
And the Borough of Verona would like to extend congratulations to Conco Services Corporation. President of International Markets, George Saxon Jr., for receiving the U.S. Small Business Administration 2019 Mid-Atlantic Region and Western Pennsylvania Exporter of the Year Award. We are very proud that a family-owned business from our community has won such prestigious awards.
Thank you very
Awards,
much.
both of them.
Thank you.
Again, congratulations, George Saxon Jr., the whole family, the whole international team, and the entire Conco family. And thank you for investing in Verona.
Thank you.
And County Councilman Nick Paul also has something for you.
Thank you.
At Allegheny County, we do things a little different. We ask all of our participants, family members to come up.
Also, there was a memo sent out before Nick and I wear red shirts.
Good to see you. Well, what a great opportunity this is for me. Being our councilman for Allegheny County, knowing the Saxon family, oh heck, maybe 30 years or more, maybe. They have been an asset to Verona for many years. Job creation for many people, and giving living wages so people could have families and raise their families and educate their children because of that. This is important in Allegheny County, where we create jobs in industry like this. Most of all, they came from this area. Oakmont, Verona, Penn Hills, jobs from people, I know many of them over the years. Not only that, on a personal note, this family spent many days and afternoons in my restaurant. And I just want you all to know I never forgot it.
Well, thank you. We didn't either.
Because they worked here, and they spent getting to-go food all the time, and George was at there with you and your husband, and Ed, he was occasional. I think he was maybe an Oakmont guy, I'm not sure. I think, he's not here now, I think I saw him chasing deer out of his yard today. I'm not sure, I don't think he's home. Is he
We
away?
had to take his son to the airport.
Okay. So we're neighbors, Ed and myself, and I might ask him to put my sign in his front yard this election, but I don't want to push my luck. Now, just as a reference, I did have his wife's sign in my yard. And I asked him.
Oh, okay.
And I got a little grief, but I explained to everybody how good of friends your family is to me. And I said politics is not a part of being friendship.
That's it.
And that's exactly the truth. But on behalf of Allegheny County, I would like to thank all of you, this family, with this proclamation.
Thank you very much.
That we are at Allegheny County are proud of small businesses that create jobs, industry. This is what we thrive for in Allegheny County, because this is the reason why we can keep your tax bases as we have for the last 17 years. We've only raised them once. And it's because of new jobs, industries, and that's our goal, and your family has been a part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Lovely, thank
There you go. There you go.
One more picture.
Thanks.
Okay, squeeze in, or stand.
And I see we have some employees here too today. All right?
One,
Brazilian nationals and a good time.
Right behind you, so.
thank you.
I look like I look like
How are you, brother?
Nice seeing you again.
Maddie, yeah.
42.
I'm Mara.
She was this big.
I know she'll be back.
You over there. Velma does. Oh, good.
It's good as the city council.
That's wonderful.
15 months already.
You're not still there.
Tell me you said hello. I will. How's the family? Boys good?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Couple of in my old house.
Good seeing you.
My grandmother, my mom grew up
Listen, and how, well, he lives in
Mr. Saxon,
Morningside.
I want to thank you because I'm a retired teacher from the Riverview School District, and I know you employ a lot of students.
Happy to employ.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Acknowledge your business now. Unless you have time for me to give a speech.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for everything.
I don't think you're as long-winded as George.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, he can go. He can go.
Good night. Okay, our next registered comment, I'm going to let Mr. Kenna handle.
We're going out of order and adding things in. One of the things that's going to come up tonight throughout the meeting is regarding our garbage contract. We got a lot of questions over the last few weeks about it, so we asked the gentleman that works for Noble Environmental or County Line Hauling to come in and give us some time tonight if anybody were to have questions on council before we made the decision on going with the new company. So, Peter?
Yeah, Peter McKeating. I can give you a little bit of background about us as well. So my name is Peter McKeating. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Development for Noble Environmental. We own 2 landfills and a number of hauling businesses. Our landfill that we're based out of is the Westmoreland Sanitary Landfill in Bell Vernon. And we do business, Westmoreland Sanitary Landfill does business as county hauling for our residential, commercial, and roll-off hauling business. So the business itself has been around for about 25 years. The owners that I work for currently purchased it 3 years ago, purchased the ongoing interest, and have really turned it around. It was kind of shuffling along. It was owned by Dravita, which is a Canadian oil and wellfield services company, and they were kind of just dumping drill cuttings, letting the site go to waste. So they bought it 3 years ago. They put about $10 million into the site. And last year, we took county hauling, which had been, again, kind of limping along, invested a lot of money into it, went from running 3 trucks a day to running 17 residential trucks. So we were picking up about 6,000 units prior to January 1st of last year. We're now picking up 35,000. So we, increased by that margin. And, I think that your engineer, and maybe, I'm not sure if you've talked to any of our current contracts, but they're all very pleased with us. We've invested a lot of money into new trucks, hired the best people out of all of the kind of surrounding hauling companies. And so we've developed a very good base, and we're excited for Verona. It fits kind of perfectly into what we're looking for, and I think we can provide a really good service to you. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, how many trucks do you have on the road?
So it's broken up into a bunch of different companies, but for county hauling itself, we have 22 residential trucks, and then we have, I think, 4 to 5 roll-off trucks and 3 commercial trucks.
I guess you're going to be supplying recycling?
Yes, yeah.
And how's that gonna work?
So it's something that it's gonna have to be an ongoing conversation, because I know that most of the residents have a current recycling cart, which Verona owns. And so the recycling carts from our perspective are going to be replacement carts, or for new residents, or if somebody needs an upgrade, or, whatever it is. So what we're probably gonna do is order a stock of them and keep them at our landfill, and we'll run them out as needed. If you have a list of people who need them right now, we'll get them delivered, right at the beginning of the contract as soon as possible. But as an ongoing thing, we'll just have a stock of them at our landfill and bring them out as needed.
Do you recycle 3 through 7?
Unfortunately not. It's, there's an amendment to the bid as well. And we actually, before I saw that, we had struck it out. There's no way to do it right now. We have a really close eye on the market. We want to put it back in, as well as glass. But right now, what's happening is we work with an independent recycler, the only independent recycler in Pittsburgh, called Recycle Source out of Homestead. And we haul their offshoot, basically all of the stuff that gets sent to the recycling center as recycling, and then they sort it out manually. And they're throwing 3 through 7 in roll-off dumpsters, and we're going and picking them up and taking them to the landfill, because there's no market for it.
Which roll-off?
It's a big dumpster, the size of the length of this room. So they throw it in there, and then we go pick that up and take it to the landfill. So what's happening when people are recycling 3 through 7 is that it'll go to the recycler. They call it aspirational recycling. It gets taken to the recycler, and the recycler is throwing it out. And so what's happening is the environmental impact is worse if you put it in the recycling right now, because not only does it have to be sorted by man hours, it then has to be double trucked, once to the recycling center and then once to the landfill, as opposed to just going in the trash and getting straight to the landfill. So we have a very close eye on the market. As soon as anything changes, we're going to put it back in. But right now, we lost basically $1 trillion infrastructure in China when they stopped buying all of that. And there hasn't been enough time for anything else to build up.
What are you gonna do when people start throwing everything in the recycling? I mean, how are you gonna prevent, you ever see some of those on the bottom? They're so tiny.
Yeah, we can't. Realistically, there's no way to do it. So if they throw everything in the recycling, we're going to take it up as recycling, we're going to take it to our recycler, they're going to pull all the contamination out, and it's going to get sent to the landfill.
So the borough's not going to be held responsible for, because we're getting all the 3 to 7s?
No, there's really no way to do it. We'd have to have a guy on the ground going through the stuff to see, because, you could have a load that's completely clean and then one person contaminates it, and it is what it is. No, you won't be held accountable. We've been attempting to educate as much as we can about why it's happening. It's not because we arbitrarily decided that we don't want to take that kind of recycling anymore. It's just that there's nowhere for us to take it. And so it's going as trash anyway. And we've had, decent success with that education campaign. If we're awarded, we'll have a letter going out that explains it. It's hard to hit a balance. You want to give enough detail where it makes sense, but it's a pretty complicated problem. So we've had some success, but there's going to be contamination no matter what. Even right now, whatever your 1 through 7 in your class, there's contamination in there. People are throwing trash in there. So it happens. We just try and reduce it as much as we can.
Are you also going to provide a smaller truck for these alleys that you can't get the big truck down?
Yep. Yeah. We call them satellite trucks. We're actually going to be buying a new one for Verona. So it'll be single axle.
So they could back, I know there's a couple spots where they have to back down with a smaller truck, like you said.
Yeah.
To pick up the garbage.
Yeah, that's no problem. We have that kind of street almost everywhere we go, so we're familiar with it, yeah.
Is it going to be every other week still with recycling?
Yeah, that's what the bid spec called for.
Was there a dumpster in that bid spec too for the street department?
Yes. So
at no charge?
Yeah.
And how often does that get picked up?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but whatever the bid spec called out, we'll start it on that, and if it's not enough, we'll just increase service. That really doesn't move the needle for us at all, so whatever you guys need, we'll make that work.
So I'm curious whether it would be you guys or some other company
I think that educating the residents of the town is really important because even now, not everybody in the town recycles. Now, we have to look at the bottom and see if it's 1 through whatever, and then not put the 3 through 7 in there, not put the glass, and I'm willing to do that, and I'm sure many people are, but many people aren't or wouldn't know. So I'm wondering what your commitment to educating the residents of the town would be.
So like I said at the beginning, with all the notifications about, new hauler introduction kind of stuff, we'll be sending an educational piece that I have that I've sent to Shaler Township, that I've sent to a number of other townships, laying out what I said and then listing what is deemed recyclable at this moment and what isn't. And then we also, in there's some plain English. So to be very simple, basically 1 through 3 through 7, or 1 and 2 is anything that you drink out of. So anything that something going into your body touches, except for the food container. So it's anything you drink out of is really what we want.
Except for
recycled.
glass bottle.
Except for glass bottles. Yeah. It's confusing, and we can do something ongoing if that's something you'd like to see. A 6-month or a yearly update on what's going on. But we have found we get a lot of questions about it, but we have the people who answer the phones are pretty well versed in this stuff, so they're able to answer most questions. But aside from a letter going out, if there's something else you'd like to see, I'd be more than happy to do that as well.
And I'd just be curious what your plan was.
Are you the go-to person that when you come in if we have a problem?
Yeah, so there will be route supervisors who do day-to-day, and then we have customer service. So day-to-day, like a miss, I don't really need to know about it, but we'll go, we have channels set up for all of that stuff, so it goes through customer service. But if it's an issue or an ongoing issue or, something that needs addressed at a higher level, yeah, absolutely.
That was my point. And I know there's gonna be a lot of hiccups the first few months. And if you start, if you miss somebody or a street or something, we need that garbage picked up ASAP.
Right.
We're not gonna wait until you could come out. We need it done now.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And for the first month usually, so like I said, on January 1st, we picked up 30,000 units, and we did it, we had our misses in Shaler, which is 12,000 units, was below what they had with Allied within 6 weeks. So I have every confidence that we can have Verona up and running and sorted within 2 weeks of collection. I don't foresee any issues. There will be some, but if it's anything ongoing, I'll step in and handle it. But the guys that we have who are our route supervisors it's a father and son. We brought them over from Waste Management about 1.5 years ago, and they're pros. They know the business kind of inside and out. And the drivers who will be in here are 15, 20-year pros as well. So it's kind of, once they do a route once, there's a little bit of issues. They do it twice, 3 times, and it's done. That's locked in.
And I would ask these questions to any new person that came in here. I'm not just picking on you because you're here, and that's the honest truth. Any garbage on the ground, we expect it to be picked up, not bypassed. It fell out of the can, I'm not picking that up type of deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, I personally called Waste Management myself seeing that.
Yeah.
And they would say, they usually have the small truck in town too.
Yeah.
And they would come by and pick it up.
We always go back, and one of the good things about Verona is that we have 6 trucks 5 days a week in Shaler Township, so we're coming past here every single day. So there will never be an issue getting somebody back in here if something goes wrong.
So I guess, Jerry, the bids are pretty mutual then, comparable. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to speak on the bids, or do you want?
I have, are there any other questions? I have questions.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the minimum amount on the contract when we sign with you? For how long?
It's a 3-year with a 2-year option.
3 years with a 2-year option.
Yeah.
What if there's a major problem between now and 3 years? Are we locked in and we can't get out?
Well, no, they're performance outs, and you'll have a performance bond from us as well for the annual contract price. So if anything does go wrong that majorly, where you have to kick us out of town, you'll be paid for it. And all of you'll have enough money in that performance bond to pay another company and to pay all of the penalties basically that we would incur. But it's never happened to us, and the people who are running this company that I work directly for won't allow it to happen. If we have to, if something's going that majorly wrong, we're just going to throw trucks at it and we're going to throw money at it to fix it. It won't happen. I understand your concern, but yeah, there will be a performance bond, and there are performance outs in there that if it gets to that point, we got a serious issue. It won't.
The only reason I'm asking is you're new to us.
Sure.
You don't know us, and we certainly don't know you.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And it's good to know if we're locked in and we can't get out. That's important to know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you work on a probationary period? Like, are you going to give us 3 months to see how things work out here, or?
The contract is for 3 and a 2-year option, and the reason that they do that is that there are assets that we're purchasing and people we're hiring. So no, but like I said, if in 3 months this is not going off without a hitch, we'll have an issue and it'll be sorted. Almost nothing goes above my head in the hauling business, and if it does, it's handled immediately. I walked into the president, Rich Walton's office, and said we need a truck, and the truck's at the landfill the next day. So we have, one of the good things about owning landfills is that they're cash-rich businesses. We generate a lot of revenue on a day-to-day basis, and so if something's happening, we're able to very quickly throw cash flow at it and solve that problem. We don't like doing it. We prefer to plan and do things correctly, which is what we did in January 1st. But there are times when, something comes up and we solve it immediately, basically using cash and resources that we have on hand.
I'm confused on the name. Like, what name are we going to see on it? What is it?
So I'm a VP for Noble Environmental, all right? And then Noble Environmental owns the Westmoreland Sanitary Landfill, which does business as County Hauling. So they're the same entity. On our trucks, it says County Hauling. That will be the name, that will be on the letters that go out. Your residents and you will come to know us as County Hauling. But we have if I give you my business card right now, it's gonna say Noble Environmental. So I don't like to just come in and say I'm from County Hauling and then I hand you a card that says Noble and what's going on. It's Noble is a holding company that we own a variety of businesses in. And then Westmoreland does business as County Hauling.
Okay. Do you have a limit on the number of bags people can put out? Like, say somebody passes away and a house needs to get cleaned out and 30 bags of garbage end up in the alley.
So there are, once again, I can't remember off the top of my head in this particular bid spec, because I deal with about 25 municipalities. I can't remember what the bag limit is or if there is one. But if
it was set for like a 95-gallon container, so 4 to 5, depending on how large they are.
Yeah.
So they don't set the bag limit, we do.
Yes.
Whatever was in our bid spec is what they'll abide by.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. But also, with that being said, and we don't like to spec all the time. If something happens, we're happy to help. It doesn't, picking up 30 bags, as long as it doesn't pack our truck out and make us go back to the landfill and back, it's fine. We'll help out in those types of situations. If we have somebody who's cleaning out a house 3 times a year and putting out 50 or 60 bags, it's an issue. But it's stuff like that. We're happy to help.
How about furniture?
It's once again by the bid spec.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not. I can't.
Once a month.
Once a month. Yeah. Once a month, one large item.
Do you have to be notified?
No, it won't matter to us. Yeah. It's. And if they can't get it, one of the trailer trucks will get it on the way back. So.
It's reasonable size items too.
Yeah, like this.
Like the one complaint I got was in Shaler, someone put out an entire sectional sofa and then complained when it was only half of it was taken.
But she'd also put out a sofa the week before and 2 sofas the week before that.
It's
5 sofas, and we took the first 2 sets. So yeah.
Do we have to call? I believe in the waste management, we have to call for like specialty things to be taken away.
No, we don't ask that you do it. It's we're gonna get it. That's how we get it. Yeah.
What about televisions and electronics like that?
So televisions are e-waste, which is really, really highly regulated, and there was not an e-waste option on your bid, because what we do with e-waste is we use a subcontractor. If you would like an option on e-waste, I can put you directly in touch with the company that that we use, you would have to bid it competitively again, but they're a great company. They're called ECS&R.
Your state legislators and senators often have an e-waste bonanza
Right.
once or twice.
We would call, we were able to call Waste Management and set up something, but,
We can do that as well, like one-off events and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Jared and I
Okay.
had discussed that of,
Okay.
once the things could go, and maybe once a year,
Yeah.
holding it where they.
I didn't know whether you would do it or.
No, we can do it. Without it being in the contract, I would have to talk to ECS&R about, there might be a little bit of a cost associated with it. It's nothing crazy, and you could probably charge $3 to $5 per TV or whatever as they come in.
That's fine. I just wanted to know how that was being handled with your
How many men do you put on your truck? Like,
It depends. The Shaler trucks are large trucks. They're called resi front loads, residential front load trucks, and they're one-man trucks. So there's just one person on there. Our rear load trucks and our small trucks, call them satellite trucks, they're usually 2, sometimes 3. So 2 guys on the back and 1 person driving. But it's really varied. It really depends on, what our schedule is that day, what truck went down that morning, which is the nature of running heavy equipment. Something's always down. But yeah, between 1 and 3.
Will we be doing the recycling the same day as garbage like we do now?
Yeah, I think so.
If not, that'll be really confusing to people.
Yeah, I think so. We don't have any schedule set in stone yet because we can't really divert resources until we're awarded a contract. It's hard for us to go ahead and start rearranging stuff, but I think so. But I will say we do have municipalities where we just, we do the recycle on Friday for the whole town and the trash, it works. There's a little bit of a hiccup usually at the beginning, but it's not that confusing. But what we've talked about internally is that it would be the same day. If you have your trash picked up, you have your recycle picked up.
So how many trucks will you have in Verona on garbage day?
That's also a thing that it depends. It'll probably be 1. There's a possibility we send a sweep, which is like 4. They'll come by and do a section of houses. It really depends, and we haven't made a decision on it yet. So my inclination is that it'll be 1. It could be up to 4.
Okay. The other thing is, I understand you guys are out of Bell Vernon, which is about an hour away.
Yeah.
So I have a concern that if there's snow and ice and, I don't know, maybe you have a truck that's having an issue and then it breaks down or something, or gets stuck in a traffic jam because of the snowstorm. Do you have any kind of backup plan? I don't remember that ever being an issue in all the time I have lived here. And I think we've had Waste Management the whole time. They're closer, I guess. I just wonder how you handle that.
Yeah, I think they're about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. So, so Shaler had the same question at the beginning of our contract with them, and we had one day that we didn't pick up because it was just covered in ice. There was no trucks were moving anywhere in southwestern PA. Waste Management, Allied, everybody shut down. So we had one day, and it just gets bumped like there was a holiday, basically. We pick up on Saturday. So if on Monday the weather shuts everybody down, Monday is now Tuesday, and we run through the week as normal. In terms of a truck getting stuck or breaking down, we have that all the time. So we pick up City of Washington, which is about 40 minutes, Cannonsburg, which is 45, 50, and Bridgeville, which is an hour, and then Shaler, which is an hour. So we have road mechanics in a fully equipped truck that go out and fix the trucks on site if they can. If they can't, they haul them back, and we send another truck out. We have excess resources. So if something goes down, that's causing it. We haven't had a single day since I've been here, which is about a year and a half, that we haven't had every municipality in every borough haul the trash up off the ground on the day that they were scheduled to be picked up, except for that one instance when the weather shut us down. So like a lot of the other kind of concerns is that when it happens, we throw resources at it and get it done.
How is your fleet? I mean, is it new? Is it older?
No, it's pretty new. We have the 6 trucks in Shaler are all brand new, and then the rest of the fleet is ranging between 2008. There's a couple of 2008s, 2012s, 2015s. So yeah, I mean, we don't have any leaky, rusty trucks rolling around. They're all clean. They all look good. And the oldest trucks we bought a small hauler down south called ASG, and we took their trucks. They're the oldest trucks we have in the fleet. Everything we buy is relatively new.
But you have like extra trucks in case there's, and they can...
Yeah, and we always we have extra trucks. We also have the manpower to double routes. Our guys work between 6 to 10 hours a day. So sometimes you just take the 6-hour guy and say, hey, you're working 12 today. Go to Verona when you're done. And so, like I said, we've had no issues getting everything up. It's a point of pride for our route supervisors and our drivers is that they don't leave it on the ground. So.
And I guess in the contract, there was our start time too, because we had a problem years and years ago, because they were coming at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, and we put a stop to that real quick. We made them sit there. I believe it's 6 o'clock.
6 is
6 or 6:30 or something.
Something like that.
I think there was a start time, I can't remember.
I think it's 6. 6 is standard, and also, we're an hour away, so we're leaving the fill at 5. They're not getting there that much earlier than that. So the start time's no issue. If we have a front load commercial can down here, that one could possibly go earlier, but if it's an issue, we'll just make it rear load and have the residential guys pick it up, so it's no problem.
We have recycling at the end of the Borough Building here that often gets forgotten about. Would you be responsible for picking that up as well on your recycling day, or?
Is it it's a waste management recycling can? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all in the spec. I can't remember, probably a trash and recycling dumpster here, probably one at Street Department or Public Works is usually how we do it. But whatever is in the spec.
Public Works is down here, so.
Okay.
It's just
so it's all this
one trash and one recycling.
We got one down by the salt shed.
One at the salt shed,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be responsible for that. It'll just be picked up as recycling, and we dump in, our recycle source is in Homestead, so it's not that far.
So what about like the street department's cleaning up of leaves and street cleaning and stuff like that? Would you be responsible for taking all that dust and debris and everything as well? Does that go in?
Do you know what they put it? Does it go?
They usually get a dumpster. I don't know how many yards, I haven't been down there to see what yards they got, but our street sweeper, they'll take down and dump, and then they'll pick it up and put it in the dumpster when it's full.
Okay. It would be by the bid spec. If it's not in there, we'll get you a dumpster. There might be a small charge associated with it because we're running an hour. But if it's in the bid spec, we factored it in. If it's not,
I'm not sure if that one.
It might not be in there because we had that a while ago, and then we eliminated it because we had somewhere else to put it. Now we don't have a place to put it.
Okay, and we can just set up a standard price. They just call for a swap, and it won't be very much. But if we're gonna, we charge our actual customers about $900 a pull, so it'll be significantly less than that. But we'll have to basically cover the cost of getting out here.
One of the things that Waste Management always put out was a calendar to show...
recycle days and...
Yeah, it's right there on the table if you'd like to take a copy of it.
Yeah, somewhere there.
It looks very similar to mine.
Yeah, so you guys have a calendar too?
Yeah.
Somehow that'll get distributed to the residents?
Yeah, so the distribution, how we generally do it is that when we're awarded the contract, we sit down with the manager and we come up with a schedule and we get that kind of approved. And then we send a letter telling people if their days are changing. So there's a couple things we need from you before we do that. We need address lists and we need kind of maps. But we send a mailer saying, this is your collection day going forward. We're county hauling. Welcome. But we're happy to be here. All that. And then we'll send a calendar, and then there will be an educational piece on the recycling as well.
I have one last question. What about delinquent accounts? It shouldn't be this borough's responsibility to go after them. We're contracting you, any business, to collect the garbage, and if they're delinquent, we'll do what we have to do on our side, but we're not going to do the legwork and the paperwork.
We don't expect you to. If it's individual bill, which is what we call when we bill them versus borough pay, there's usually some pretty strict language on it in the bid spec, especially in your bid spec. It was pretty laid out. I can't remember exactly what it is, but we're going to do what we do in that bid spec. If it says we're allowed to cut them off after 60 days of non-payment, we will. And that they usually pay when their trash gets stuck. If it says we can't do that, we'll just keep charging them, and we'll go after them as much as we can. But we basically go up to the limit that is placed in the bid spec. But no, we don't expect the borough to do anything there.
I think it was either 60 or 90 days.
Yeah,
And
there is a cutoff in there.
once that happens, if you let us know, our code officer can
Exactly.
also go after them for not having service.
And we appreciate that, because that usually, sometimes we'll be like, oh, I throw it in the dumpster at work or whatever, but if they start getting penalized as well, it helps, so.
And we need to know, like our engineer said, soon, if these people are delinquent.
Right.
Don't come back to us in a year or so and say, hey, look at the big list we got, they're not paying.
We like getting paid for the work, so if they hit 90, we're gonna shut them off, and we'll send you 90 as we go. As soon as people start hitting 90 days, we'll let you know.
I think that's a little long, 90 days.
It's either 60 or 90, I can't
60 or
remember.
90, I can't
Is that what's in the, I wish we would have.
Again, it's whatever the spec says.
Yeah.
So it's May 14th. Are you guys gonna be able to get all of this transition happening between now and the 31st, which means the first week of June? You guys will be coming, I don't know if the day's gonna be switching, you guys are gonna be sending out the bills?
Yeah.
I mean, how,
So we'll bill at the end of the quarter. But yeah, we did, we won Duquesne on December 24th, and we started them on the 1st. So we can do it. It's a little bit tight, but it's no problem. We use Pittsburgh mailing for all our notifications. They can have stuff in the mail the day that I send them the copy. So no, we won't have any issues getting notifications out.
Do you give a financial break if a customer pays like the entire year instead of quarterly?
It's by the bid spec.
Okay.
It's pretty laid out on how and what people are charged. So
how much is it gonna be?
it's a 2% increase from where you are right now.
And then, do you remember what the increases are ongoing?
It's about 2
or 3%.
Yeah,
year.
well, we did a couple different things. It's like 2.25, 2.5, and 3 or something.
So the first year will be $19.50.
Per month, and we'll be billing quarterly.
And our current rate now is actually $19.58.
Yeah, we did drop, actually. That's
So
right.
for the first year, it's actually a few cents savings.
So, the end of the second quarter is June 30th. It's like, we're not ending on that quarter.
We'll just bill at 90. I think that's probably what we'll do, if that makes sense. We'll bill 4 times a year, and we'll just call that the first quarter for Verona, and we'll just bill 90 days after for what would be considered the first
So
quarter.
the first bill would be June, July, August, September. Is that what you're saying?
June, July, August, through the quarters.
So it's not gonna be, it's gonna be different quarters.
Yeah, but it'll probably be below 90. It's because when the contract starts.
Quarter is based off the contract.
Yeah.
So since the contract is starting in June.
Yeah.
So just every 3 months is the bill.
It's not financial quarters, but it'll be 4 times a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, okay. So people would be getting a bill from county hauling at the end, due the end of August?
End August, early September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but that's, okay. That's weird. So our bill from Waste Management for April, May, and June will be prorated, or it's be weird. It'll be only for 2 months then. Right?
Yeah, I can tell you that they're probably gonna charge you a quarter, so I'd have your residents call. They've done it in the past to other places I've seen.
So we're gonna get double billed for June?
We're gonna bill you for June because we're picking up in June.
Right.
If they bill you for June, they're overbilling you. So just keep an eye out for that. Or talk to me prior.
Okay. Something to look at.
Anything else?
I don't.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Very
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Right now?
No.
Okay. Okay, Shirley Davis.
I'm afraid to come up after all that. I gave everybody a packet of information from the Twin Boroughs Health Ministry and Verona Methodist Church asking for the use of Cribbs Field for the length of the summer lunch program, which is free to everybody. I also attached to that, I attached what Twin Boroughs Health Ministry does. We do a summer fun camp, we do a community dinner, we do a community food pantry, and we do a closed closet, which is free to everybody. I attached to that also just some literature that shows you why we do the summer camp and the need for it in this area. I think I also gave you something from UPMC that is going to be at our community dinners every 3 months, along with, I think I told you at the last meeting, that the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank will be bringing produce that is available for that time of the month, in that month, and is to be given to anybody that would like to take it home. We let the people that need it take it home. We take it to the food bank upstairs, and we hand it out on the weekends if it's not handed out on that Wednesday of the community dinner. If there's anything left over, we personally deliver it to senior citizen centers, so nothing goes to waste. So that's pretty much what we do. I have a couple pictures. I wasn't able to make enough for everybody, but I'll let you peek at those. And also, I couldn't say it more perfectly than what Nick Vitola said, that politics has nothing to do with friendships that you make within this council, previous councils, people that I work with, communities, businesses. I've had a few people question me on a few things in the last couple months. And that's why I gave you an explanation of everything that we do and what we do. I myself do not live in Verona. I live in Penn Hill, so I don't have an agenda with the Verona Council, or who is running for what, or who is not running for what. I have friendships from this council, I have them from the previous councils, and I have them as friends. And if I care to go to lunch with a friend or have a drink with a friend, I don't want to be criticized because I do not have an agenda of Republicans, Democrats, Independents, or anybody else. So that's why I gave you this information, because probably pretty much of everybody that has been on council in the last 10 years, I've had good dealings with, such as your sister, such as Nick's brother, such as Dawn's wife, such as all of you. I reach out to you sometimes and ask you for things, whether it's drinks to bring to the community dinner that I am in need of, if it's a gift card that I need for a gift at Christmas, I reach out. Whoever responds to that, I am grateful. So I just want to wish every one of you the best in running for whoever's running. I know Mike Forbeck, he's one that's not here, but I do know Sylvia, I do know Nancy, I do know Sandy Drabecki, and I do know Dom Conte. And it has been my pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
Shirley, thank you for all you do.
Yeah,
That's a lot of work what you do. I've seen you go through with the food bank and everything, and putting everything together with the other churches, clothes drives, and thank you for all your volunteers and your volunteers also.
Without all these churches and individuals and businesses, I myself could not do this on my own. So I am grateful to all that help, and I appreciate all that help.
You're the organizer.
I get to be the spokesperson, which I'm not a very good speaker. So I thank you very much.
Shirley, you do a lot of fundraising for all those too, and I appreciate
Yes, I do.
that.
Yes.
I mean, I've been to your bingos that are absolutely fantastic, and your flea markets and so on and so forth. So all that fundraising that you do, in addition to the time that you're putting in with the community dinners and the food bank and the summer camp program and the clothing bank. I mean, I don't know where you have the time to do that, but it's phenomenal.
I'm older now, so I can give my time back. So, but I thank every one of you for everything that you have done.
You want
And I don't want to get emotional.
Okay.
Thanks, Shirley. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Okay. That's it with the registered comments. So council will now hear comments from the public on agenda-related items. Okay.
It's actually not.
That's on public comment at the end of the meeting. This is agenda meeting. This is agenda items only, Councilman.
Thank you, solicitor.
The attorney has spoken.
Okay. We'll move on then with our agenda. Mr. Kenna.
All right, for the first things on there is the meeting minutes. I'd like to table the meeting minutes until the workshop. Marcia just got back from her trip to Greece, and we're a little bit behind on that, so she's...
Make a motion to table the minutes.
Motion on the floor to table the meeting minutes to the workshop, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Everybody has a handful of packets in front of you for the financial reports, as well as an email from me. There's a list of all of the checks that have been paid and outstanding bills, and we would need a motion to pay the bills. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Mr. Conti, I'll second. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
For the tax collector special taxes report, you can see on the report that shows there's 6 columns on that report that shows January through April plus a year-to-date and a budget amount. You can see the first line there, the property taxes are pouring in. So the property taxes for the current year, $223,259.12. The delinquent year property taxes, $13,508.50. The prior year property taxes, $5,546.48. Real estate transfer taxes from Allegheny County for April is $1,466.53. Earned income taxes for the current year, $75,509.92. And local service taxes for the current year is $5,175.06.
Can I have a motion to accept the tax collector special taxes report?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Motion by Mr. McCarthy, I'll second. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
In the general fund for beginning April 1st, 2019, we had $338,852.19. We received deposits of $338,477.89 into the general fund. We had $113,556.87 worth of expenditures from the general fund, and our ending balance is $563,777.21 as of April 30th, 2019.
773?
$563,773.21. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Loalbo. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Police chief's report.
Evening.
Good evening.
We had 126 complaints, 17 crimes reported, 14 cleared, 10 arrests, 4 code summaries issued, 7 vehicle code summaries issued, 18 borough code summaries issued, and 159 parking tickets issued. Our revenue sources, magistrates fines collected was $546.50. Borough fines and fees collected was $885. Police reports purchased is $60. Amusement device permits, $1,500. Municipal fines, $239.29. The total was $3,230.79. And another $280 in parking permit fees. Lower Valley, the mayor had put together having a car seat event, and we'll do that next June. Lower Valley, talk about it when they're trying things up for the meeting.
Great idea.
Thank
Let you know that we're going to all be involved in that. That's all I have, thank you.
Can I have a motion to accept the police chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the chief police report.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McCarthy, second by Mrs. Provenza. Are there any questions? Chief, I just have a question. Can you give a rough guesstimate? How much revenue does the borough parking tickets bring in at 159?
Well, I'm not sure about, the revenue.
Well,
Well, the tickets are what, $5 each, I believe?
Yeah, but some are 10, some are 50.
Okay.
It's just according, and it's according if they all get paid. Some of them don't get paid, and then they end up in court.
Okay.
Sometimes they come back and pay the $5, or they have to pay extra because it went through court. So it's kind of hard to give an exact figure.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay, motion on the floor by Mr. McCarthy, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Fire chief's report.
We had 16 fire calls in the month of April.
Wow, you were busy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the fire chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the fire chief's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McCarthy. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. EMS report.
Good evening. For the month of April, we had 32 911 responses to the Verona Borough. 12 were transported ALS, 6 were transported BLS, 4 of them assist, 4 cancellations, 4 refusals. Last month, talking to the mayor, we're here setting up another car seat safety check. That's to be June 29th here at the Verona Building. Saturday from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. on the 29th. There'll be car seat technicians on site. Also, the flyers are out. If anybody needs to make an appointment, and they'll have a limited amount of car seats available if they need to be replaced.
Nice,
The plugging appointments are necessary.
nice, thank you.
We also have Children's Hospital coming down with a safety van for anybody that has little kids, whatever, wants to come down, check it out, check the little house, have like an oven, furnaces and stuff like that, what to touch, what not to touch, so forth. Also, June 1st, we're going to be at the Relay for Life over in Oakmont. We'll be doing the CPR demonstrations between the hours of 10 to 12, along with our auto pulse. And we'll be doing a stop and bleed class in the afternoon from 2 to 4. June 8th, we're going to be participating with the Verona Bike Derby. We teamed up with Sergeant Franco's. We're working on, with Sergeant Franco's and Chief, to provide helicopters to the bike. We're waiting for verification of that. And finally, our annual subscription is underway, so we do encourage all residents to subscribe. It helps us help the community better and helps offset our operations and capital expenses as well.
Thank you for everything you do for the community. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Can I have a motion to accept the EMS report?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Suchovich, second by Mr. Conti.
Thanks, Jamie.
Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay.
So the only thing I have left, it looks like Marcia stapled it to your agendas. There's a memorandum from Weiss Burkhart, Ann Largo, and Colleen Silliman for the delinquent tax. I'll read we are recommending filing a writ of execution against the following properties in the borough of Verona. The way this works is, the cost is $4,000 per property, but we are splitting it with the school district. Or, I'm sorry, it's $2,000 per property. We're splitting it with the school district, so we will have a $4,000 cost. The properties are 314 to 324 Arch Street, 442 West Railroad Avenue, 459 Union Street, and 458 Ridge Avenue. So I would need a motion to file the writ of execution and to pay the $4,000 in filing fees.
Can I have a motion to authorize Jerry to file the writs of execution against the following properties?
I will make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti. I'll second.
Question.
Yes, sir.
This is new to me, so I'm just like questioning what this is all about.
Yep, so it's sheriff's sale, they're behind in property taxes. The memo actually shows for each property the school and borough taxes due. For instance, the first one there is, I believe, the Marina Pub.
Okay.
The school taxes being owed is just shy of $111,000. The borough is just shy of $36,000. So this will go to sheriff's sale, and this pays for the costs. The cost to put a property to sheriff's sale can be expensive. So oftentimes, we work with the school district because we use the same collector. Split the cost of the sheriff's sale in hopes that the cost of the sheriff's sale, if it were to sell in sheriff's sale, that we will get some of this back. Whether the Marina Pub would sell for that kind of money to cover those costs or not, we don't know. But that's what these would be.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question also. I'm just wondering why we need to be splitting 50/50 the cost with the school district when in the Marina Pub example, it's 110 or 111,000 for the school, and we're only getting up to 36,000.
So, yeah, the school taxes, as you know, are much higher than the borough taxes. I mean, if the borough wanted to push and try to get the school district to pay a larger share of it, I don't know that you're really gonna get, we have a hard enough time getting the school district to participate in this. They're not very aggressive with it. This helps subsidize our cost to go forward with these sheriff sales.
I think some of these homes, I don't know about the Marina Pub, but some of the lower end homes aren't on the school district's radar. So they have no impetus to do it, and if they had to cough up, say, we get 17% or something like that of the revenue, they get the rest, if they had to cough up 83% of the cost of the sheriff's sale, I don't think they would do it.
And there's no way after the fact to make it more even? I mean...
Well, we get if it sells, we get that filing fee back. That's added on to the $4,000 per property, or the $2,000 per property gets added to what's owed. The cost, when you go to a sheriff's sale, the beginning bid is cost plus the taxes due. The cost being the $2,000.
Okay. So
the buyer will pay that, and we will get that back.
Okay, so, and is this Ira Weiss, did you say?
Weiss Burkhardt, yeah, it's not Ira Weiss, it's Weiss Burkhardt.
Weiss Burkhardt.
Weiss Burkhardt Kramer.
Okay, motion by Mr. Conti, seconded by myself. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
That's all I have.
Okay. Nick, Solicitor Alexander says that, go ahead and make your comment, whatever you want to say.
Is it on agenda now?
We're giving you special dispensation.
You have special dispensation.
Well, I'm just sitting here and I happened to notice behind you incorporated of May 10th. Today is the 14th of May, and it's 148 years of Verona. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any provisions for 150th? I haven't been around, or is there some sort of committee or provisions for an anniversary?
I brought it to the attention of the community group, so hopefully there'll be some sort of committee brought forth. Actually, Janet brought it up 2 years ago, I think. So.
Okay. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, my God, it's the anniversary 4 days ago, so I just wanted to, I'm sure there was going to be an anniversary party of some sort.
There has to be.
Some communities do it like a week long.
Are you offering them over at the Harmer House?
Somehow, yeah,
Okay.
great.
Keep that in mind. I mean, when St. Joe celebrated their 150th, they had something different going on every month of the year, so.
Yeah.
I would like to see that happen in Verona.
I'd love to be on that committee.
Wonderful, you're hired.
It's on record. Just bring your checkbook.
Just bring your checkbook, that's right.
Just as a matter of record, in 1971, for our 100th anniversary, and I was 18 years old at the time. And I can remember the celebration like it was yesterday. Matter of fact, somewhere around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, they had to close Verona down because we've got everybody in the town intoxicated at the bar. We were serving, believe it or not, from 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, 5-cent, 14-ounce draft beers. The Verona Fire Hall.
They had their own little...
And the Verona Fire Hall had their centennial mugs, and they couldn't sell any of them, so my father told the Verona Fire Department, bring them to the front of our bar and tell anybody that buys that glass that they get a nickel beer. They sold out within a half an hour, all the glasses, and Eiler's Hardware were sold out in plastic buckets because they were filling buckets with beer.
You remember they had all them cubicles, they were selling, the fire department was selling food, and they all dressed up in the...
Yeah, people were throwing quarters on the bar, getting 5 beers. It was a great night.
So then we would need a request an exec session. We don't need,
Do you want to do it now? Do you want?
do you want to do the exec
Then, of
session
course,
to
the
discuss the
125th
garbage contract?
Well, that's the next one.
Do we need to, will they be making a decision tonight? Should we do it now?
Is it up on the agenda?
It's not, but we need to talk about it.
I would do it at the end.
Do they need to come back?
Huh?
Do they need to come back, or would they vote?
Only if you're gonna award it tonight, you have to come back. You don't know. But I mean, I wouldn't break the meeting up unless you feel you have to.
Well, we need to award it tonight.
We need to probably award it tonight, Greg.
So I would just go through the agenda, get, you know,
do it at the
people have
end.
their comment, then we'll go into executive session.
Okay.
Yeah, last month we collected $280. That gives you a little bit of an idea.
Okay.
Each month's gonna be different.
Right, that's fine, Chief. I just wanted to, I looked at the number and I thought, wow, we're pretty rich. Not really. Thank you. Okay, Mayor Recupero.
A few things, the flagpole. I talked to AJ, where are we putting it at? He wasn't sure.
I was told we were gonna put it on the left side of the scoreboard.
You know what I think we need is to make excuse me, a work order. As we bring something up for the street crew to do, there's a work order the next day and it's handed to them so they know exactly, you know, what they're doing and where, you know, what's expected from this, you know, council. I think that would work a lot better. But that's up to the board, you know, to decide. A simple, you know, turn a work order in, and that goes for anything. If a council person calls, hey, there's a huge pothole on such and such street, there should be a work order made up. This way they, you know, there's a paper trail of it.
See, I think it's a good idea, but I think that no matter what, should either go through Jerry or Dawn, because Dawn's the chairperson of the street department. Dawn, what do you think about that?
I don't have an issue with it. How I work and where I work, there's no possible way I'm gonna be able to make a work order and get it to them.
Well, the borough manager would make the work order.
Yeah, I would do it. You would just call it to me, I'd make it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you would call it in, and this way it would be, you know, then we know that it's gonna be, you know, getting done, so we don't forget about anything.
Yeah, I didn't, when you said that, I thought maybe someone tried changing it, but from the beginning, it was supposed to be put on the left side of the scoreboard. And then there were some issues with the pole, I think it was back ordered. That's why it hasn't been, nothing has been done with it yet.
Well, I guess there was some confusion of, you know, but if we, you know, produce a work order, then now it's on paper where, you know, no matter what it is, you know, it would be there.
Okay, all right, yeah, we'll start putting it on paper.
And then they could, you know, start collecting them, and then they can go every morning, okay, we got this one, let's do this today, you know what I mean? And just start checking things off, rather than mentally remember or jotting it down on a piece of paper and it gets lost.
Okay.
The other thing I have is, we talked last meeting about the steps over there by the cannon, of redoing the mural. I talked to Rich Boniker, he's the one that did the one on Center Avenue. And he went over and looked at that, and he called me, and he said it's in pretty bad shape, the steps. It's all peeling away, and for anybody to go over there and repaint what's on there, it's gonna all flake off. His suggestion, and he did take a picture of it if we decide to use him or whatever, he has it on his camera of what it looks like and the dimensions and everything, whatever, however they do it. And I had Frank Lombardo, the concrete man, go over and look at that, and he says to resurface that whole entire thing would be approximately $3,500 to surface and is it purge, Matt? Purge. Yeah, to purge it. Purge. No, purge or purge. Purge or it's either one. Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's something you want to go take a look at it and, give us your opinion to see what needs to be done, but we're just throwing money away no matter who goes over there and does the painting and touching up. It's just going to flake right off, he said. So the steps need to be something done.
Redone.
Are you talking about the steps or the wall?
The whole steps, they're, everything.
Steps and wall.
The steps and the wall.
Dave, when that was painted, did they put like a protective coating over that?
Yes, it was.
I'm sure they did for graffiti, because that's what's on it, the center auto parts, it'd be easier to wipe off.
Right.
But that's not the point. The cement is starting to crack and,
Right.
Peel off and everything.
Now, Lombardo, are you talking the $3,500 to redo the steps and the wall?
I believe
just
so.
the wall?
You know what, I'll have to check on that, to be honest with you.
If he's doing everything for that, I think that's a good deal. If he's just doing the face of
Because
the wall,
I did tell him
it's a
to
little
look
high.
at the wall, so I don't know. And Matt, if you could go over there and take a look at that and, let us know what actually really needs to be done.
Yeah, I'll take a couple quick measurements.
The other thing is too, Oak Lawn Barbecue, was we supposed to pass something, Craig, on that?
I have that in my report,
Okay.
Dave.
Okay, and the other thing too is that they're very real quick, exec, on contracts. That's it.
Thank you. Just have a few things here. Give Back Day was on May 3rd. Riverview High School participated. They had many projects going on in the community. Two things that I'm aware of that came through me were the picnic tables up at Cribs got painted. Not just painted, they did designs on them, it was pretty cool. And they ripped up the bocce court there too, and I have pictures if anybody wants to see. On behalf of council, I had sent Mr. Hewitt a note saying that on behalf of Verona Borough Council, I would like to thank the teachers and the students of the Riverview Junior Senior High School for the many projects performed on May 3rd, Give Back Day. The Verona community appreciates their concentrated efforts. Sincerely, the Council of Verona. I copied that to Dr. Danino too, and it was recognized last night at the board meeting, so I just wanted to make council aware of that. May 9th was kindergarten orientation at Verner. I represented council. David was there as well. There were 11 services there. There was the PTO, the dance group, the school nurse, the occupational therapist, title services, guidance. Chamber was there. Well, Chamber wasn't there, but they had sent a flyer. The police were there, the chief, the mayor, the library. The flyers, most of the flyers that I had taken to dispense to the parents of the graduating class of 2032 are on the table there if anybody's interested. I tried to give them a wide range of information. May 19th, this coming Sunday from 9:30 to 1:30 is the Community Appreciation Day at St. Joseph's School. We would like to get this onto a text alert, and I had asked this at the last meeting, so I saw Mr. Brown here, but he's not here anymore. Can you contact him and make sure that that gets on the text alert? Last night was the school board meeting. There were probably 12 of us in the group. If there were any other Verona residents there, I'm unaware because I was the only one that spoke. Most of the people from Oakmont did speak. And they're anticipating an increase in our taxes of the max, which is allowed is 2.3%. Depending on how your house is assessed, it could be up to $88 a house. I suggested that they reconsider that. 2 Verona board members are the ones that made the motion and seconded it, and the only one that went against the 2.3 was Alex Claudio. Didn't think that that they should go for the max that they had done 2 years ago. It says here the proposed budget will be available for public inspection at the Riverview School District Central Office. It's also available on the district website at www.rsd.k12.pa.us. I strongly suggest everybody look into that budget for transparency purposes. It's not to be ignored. The public hearing of the budget will occur on June 10th at 7 o'clock. At the 10th Street School, and it will be accepted on June 17th, depending on what flies and what doesn't fly. But what I thought was interesting was, and I had brought this to their attention, Penn Hills, they've increased their taxes and that via school buildings and so on and so forth. Riverview is increasing by administration. So they have roughly a total of 979 students. They currently have 9 administrators. They're going to retire 1, but they're going to put in 2 half-time administrative positions. Graduated a class last year of 65 students. This year it's anticipated 67 students. 9 administrators. So this was in I think the Penn Hills Progress in April 24th of this year. It says the Penn Hills School Board from 2009 to 2016 put the school district in a financial debt and hurt the community as a whole. So a lot of times I understand that people probably in this room, on this board, on video, don't think that the council, the Verona Borough Council and the school district are related, but guess what? They're related. Okay, and we have to pay the price here when the school board makes decisions. So this particular council person in Penn Hill said, as the school taxes climb, we must try and balance them out on the municipality side so that it eases the burden. So I think more Verona representation needs to be going to these school board meetings. They're interesting. Those people put in a lot of time, and it needs to be done. Also, last night, there was a representative there from the Allegheny Valley Youth Football Association. Like, I know we have Lower Valley Athletic Association that does the flag football, but this group is pushing tackle football for the youth, okay, as well as cheerleading. So they're going to participate in our bike derby. The gentleman called me today, and it's an all-go. I have to return the call to him and say, if you can bring your own folding table, that would be great. But he's worried that there's going to be a cost, and I just need to tell him that there's no cost for it. I just wanted to make sure that May 15th is tomorrow, and are our guys going to the COG training and maintenance of the heavy equipment?
Yes, I was in contact with him again, I think, as well as Jerry.
Okay, very good, thank you. The bike derby being June 8th, come workshop, I will be looking to make sure that we're all on target with getting things done. Has the grill been ordered? Do they have the grill yet? The DJ has been confirmed and reserved, and it's paid for by a supporting resident that I asked for the $200, and they came through with it. David, are we going to have the touch-a-truck? Okay, and Lower Valley Ambulance is going to be there. How are the bikes coming, Sylvia and Nancy?
I'm working on that. I was going to report on that.
Oh, okay, very good, thank you. Helmets, are we up for the helmets?
He took, the company that he usually gets them from closed up, sold to another company. He's looking at a different company because this guy doesn't want to do the same thing that the original guy did, but he said He told me, don't worry, he'll take care of it.
Okay,
So-
good, don't worry. Dirty Harry's is confirmed. They do need a tent put up and a table. Those are the two things that they need.
Okay.
At the workshop meeting in April, we had Hannah Hardy here from out the county regarding the Live Well community. And she talked about a resolution that we need to pass so that we can get onto the campaign. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize Craig to draft a resolution here so that Verona can move forward with the Live Well Allegheny campaign. Nick, I think Rich Fitzgerald would be very proud of us.
Say yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Say yeah, yeah, we agree.
You just donated money.
I mean, that would be the only thing. Okay?
Radio, sorry. I didn't hear what
Okay.
you said.
Hannah Hardy, who was here from the Allegheny Live Well community at our last meeting. I met up. Not Hannah Hardy. She works with is it Dr. Hacker? And I met up with her at the ALEM conference, and she came and presented, so we're going to move forward on the resolution and that so that Verona can be represented as a Live Well community.
I'll be giving you another award, right?
That would be great. We'll take all the awards we can get.
Bring Dr. Hacker.
That's right. I'd like to bring her. I'd like to meet her. So motion on the floor to authorize Craig to move forward with the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I made the motion.
Oh,
Will you second? Okay, so second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, and that is everything. Mr. Pitch.
Thank you. Quickly here, the Arley grant for the signal at Wildwood Avenue. If you haven't noticed, the poles are installed. We are waiting for some of the electronic components, and those will be being installed shortly. The CDBG projects for this year, we were approved, we were approved for 3 of them. Sanitary lining on Parker High and Union Street, the Center Avenue road reconstruction, and demos on 4th Street. I just received an email from Mr. Benecki today that the county has decided to pay for all the asbestos surveys, which in the past were on the borough to pay for. So I will be working with Craig. They are going to require a right of easement to access the properties. So I'll email you the information. And then 2019 paving of the bottom half of 2nd Street. Penn Hills and I had gone back and forth, we reviewed all the specifications. They're on board and gave us the go-ahead. We're gonna get the project advertised and bid. Once we actually have the bid numbers, then I'll work with Craig, we'll put together the cost-sharing contract before awarding it. That way, we have everything ironed out there. The DCD Greenways Trails and Recreation Program, we're applying for the pavilion and sidewalk work at Cribbs Field again. Same grant we applied for last year, just updating some of the items and quantities. And then the 2019 CITF, at the last month's COG meeting, it was announced that the project was not selected. This was for some additional sanitary work on Wildwood and on 2nd Street. So we'll look for future opportunities to fund that project. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
One question, what about, where are we at with 1st Street as far as payment? I didn't hear it.
For the grant that we have for it?
Yeah.
So we have to execute the contracts. One of the things we were waiting on was the auditor to finish the 2017 audit, of which Jerry and I have been working with. He will have that finished next week, and then we'll be able to proceed with executing the contracts. With that, the actual paving probably won't happen until next spring, because it typically takes them a month to turn the contracts around, us a month to turn them around, and then by the time you get all the bid documents and everything together, we probably will run out of time for asphalt this year.
Okay.
But that's definitely still moving forward, but it's just in the paperwork phase right now.
Okay, thank you.
Matt, I got a question on the, what's up with center and athletic?
Where the water's leaking?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to take a look at that.
It's getting bad.
Yeah, and it definitely got worse over the winter there. We do have a storm line, but not that high up, so we might have to look into extending it just to pick up the water that's coming through there.
I didn't know if we was moved ahead with it at all.
We don't have anything planned. I mean, we've had some conversations about it, but never got anything set for actually digging yet, so I'll talk to AJ with that and get a little more serious on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Mr. Alexander.
Madam President, a number of things going on this month. I'll go through the major ones quickly. We've got 5 magistrate hearings coming up next month. 4 of them deal with the regulated rental ordinance violations. Those are on June 5th at 12:35. The other one is a code enforcement hearing, and I believe that's on June 20th and I can't read my writing when I wrote it down. I think it's around 10:35, but I'll confirm the time with council and anybody that wants to come to that. Help with the garbage contract specs. I know Nancy has some stuff to talk about with ordinances that we've been talking about in our code and ordinance committee meeting, which meets every 4th of the month. I think we're meeting on the 3rd Monday of the month this month. I'm sure Nancy will touch on that. The one big thing that was going on this last month is that there's the potential of the Oakmont Barbecue Company coming into town on the boulevard, and they want to transfer a liquor license. And that requires a public hearing as well as a resolution. So I prepared the necessary resolution to the extent that council is inclined to move that liquor license into town. However, it also requires a public hearing. And when you have a public hearing, according to the Sunshine Law and also according to the Liquor Code, you have to advertise that advertisement once each week for 2 successive weeks, not greater than 30 days before the hearing and not less than 7 days before the hearing. I'd like to have the hearing on that at the workshop meeting, which is May 28th, which means the advertisement has to get in the paper this week, and then it has to get in the paper again next week, either on Monday or Tuesday, as long as it's 7 days before the 28th. I've scheduled the public hearing for 8 o'clock during the workshop meeting, if that's okay with everybody, because I have a meeting preceding that, and I would like to be here to participate in that public hearing, just in case anything needs to come up, happens to come up. So I would request a motion that a public hearing with regard to the potential transfer of a liquor license into the community on behalf of the Oakmont Barbecue Company be scheduled for 8 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, May 28, 2019, and authorize me to place that advertisement with the Valley News.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti. Second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
I do have one. Does the guy who owns were you able to talk to him? Have you talked to him so he knows what's going on? Or what?
Yeah, he had to review what Craig put together to make sure it all worked and it was fine. He authorized that he's aware of the timeline.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
So the voting meeting, the workshop meeting is already scheduled as a voting meeting, but I included in the advertisement that council may take action on the resolution, either to approve or disapprove the liquor license transfer at that meeting following the public hearing. And that's all I have to report at this time.
So we can do both in one night is what you're saying?
You can do both in one night.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Conti?
our guys won't be around tomorrow, they'll be at that training. And with the weather, they're a little bit behind, but it's supposed to not be raining now, so other than tomorrow, they should be able to try getting caught up. The rain kind of put a damper on everything.
No street cleaning, so we can park wherever we want?
Tomorrow? Yeah, well, they won't be here tomorrow, so yeah, take a chance. Just watch out for a net. That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Carpenter?
I just wanted to ask Don a question. Do you, or Jerry, I'm not sure, between the two of you about the planters, are they coming in this week? And are the guys aware of putting them in?
They're aware of putting them in. I don't know when they're coming in. I don't know if Jerry heard them.
Jerry ordered them.
Are you talking about the plant, like the big planters for the boulevard, or are you talking about the hanging plants?
No, the ones for the boulevard that were, last time I brought this up, you said they were ordered, they were gonna be in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is the end of this week, I believe.
Yeah, so I screwed up.
We still have a week left.
The brand is called Redding, and they are based off of gallon sizes. And when I told Jerry to order them, what you can get in the 3 weeks is the trash cans. The planters, the liners in them have to be custom made when you order them. So those are more like a 6 to 7 weeks. So they are ordered, but they won't be in the original 3 weeks like we thought.
Yeah, they're ordered, but we just don't know when they're gonna be in yet.
All right, so we won't count on them for Memorial Day?
Not for this plan.
Yeah, so I just need to tell Angela not to buy flowers for those planters until we find out that they're gonna be in and set where we want them to be
And
set.
that was my screw up, because when I was on the website, the planters and the trash cans look exactly alike. And I gave Jerry the part number, and he called me back and said 6 to 7 weeks instead of the 3.
Okay, all right, thanks for clearing that up. Okay, I just want to let everybody know with regards to Eco 360, we're almost done. We are clarifying some dates on some of the ordinances since September 8th of 2015 by request of Eco 360 people. They're very nice working with us. And Craig has been helping out, and Marcia's been helping out with figuring out some of these dates. And that will probably get done by the end of this month. And we approved at the last meeting the cost for this, which should not be more than $5,995. But we'll be caught up for like 4 years, so it should be good. So that's going well. And the other thing, everybody has a copy of the revised repeal of the prohibition of alcohol at dining areas and in the parks. And I think there were some questions going back and forth with the email. Also, since the last meeting, I think Craig took care of the fact that you could have a beverage without eating. Dom, I think you brought that issue up. That was a good point. And that's taken care of with new wording in section 1. And in section 2, just a couple typos. I think most of the concerns that came up at the last meeting would be taken care of in the permitting process that we would design starting on May 20th, which is going to be the next ordinance meeting, a week early because of the holiday. So that's my understanding of how this can work. So basically all this ordinance is doing is allowing us to go ahead, as it pertains to the parks, to go ahead and produce a permit and a process that would happen anytime someone with a special event would want to use the park and have alcohol. So, unless there's any further questions, I'd like to make a motion to advertise this ordinance.
I do have a question.
Let's get a motion and a second on the floor, and then we can do questions.
So I'm making the motion.
Motion to advertise the ordinance for alcohol in the parks and dining areas by Dr. Carpenter. Is there a second?
No second?
Everybody's reading it.
Oh,
We just
okay.
got it.
Well, it's the same as the last one, except for some slight wording changes and some typo corrections.
I did read it, I'll second it, but I still have a question about the solicitors here.
So motion.
Okay, motion on the floor by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Questions on the floor?
With and this is the only reason I'm asking, with regard to liability in the parks. Because we had an issue with kids wanting to put a skate park down at the tennis court. And we were told we can make people sign a waiver, but in the end, the borough can be sued for anybody getting hurt. So that's what I'm worried about, especially drinking and driving, leaving our park.
Right. And so anybody can be sued for anything under any circumstance.
Right.
Somebody could get hit in the forehead with a softball of a cribs field, and you might get sued for that. But the difference between this and, say, a skateboard park or a dog park where somebody might get bit is those are yours. And in this, somebody's asking for the permit, and they could be required to be able to serve alcohol in the park, and they could be required to purchase an insurance policy. And actually, Jerry relayed that question to me in an email, and that's why the ordinance is written in the way it's written, and you can develop the permit in any way that you want to. You could require anybody that wants to serve alcohol in any park to purchase a policy, and you guys will decide the dollar value that's appropriate and to name the borough as an added insured, so that you're covered under somebody else's insurance primarily before anybody could come after yours.
Okay.
Wasn't part of the idea of this for the borough to be able to have events and serve alcohol, and sell alcohol?
Yeah, the rec board, absolutely.
Well, not the borough per se, but it's groups in the borough. So it was rec board that brought it to my attention originally last year. And we didn't really make a commitment one way or the other, whether it was going to be to sell or to just give or sample or whatever, but...
But the answer to the question is that it's to allow that option there.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing in here about insurance, us requiring insurance,
No,
that I see.
Ray, I just said that it says that you develop the permit process, and you would include those requirements
In the permit process.
application.
I was reading it still.
So, my understanding, Craig, and correct me if I'm wrong, that allows more flexibility because we don't, if we want to change what our permit says, we can change it. We don't have to go through making up a whole new ordinance. If we were to write all those things in the ordinance, then we'd have to change the ordinance, but...
Absolutely.
The ordinance says, see the permit, then we make the permit with all the constraints that we want to have on it, And then if we change our mind, we can just change the permit and we don't have to make another ordinance.
That's correct, and you don't have to incur those advertisement costs, and it says that you're allowed to change the permit process from time to time as council deems fit, because council could change, and they might have different desires, and who knows?
And the insurance is basically covered by the added insurer or the rider, or whatever you call it.
Okay, our last meeting, we also talked about limiting it to Railroad Park. Where would that end up?
A couple people said they had a copy of whatever that was. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, I think everyone was in agreement at Riverbank Park, there's really nowhere other than where the playground is or on the basketball court. So that's not really going to be used, but there were questions about Cribbs Field. I'm not against this, Nancy. I think it's a fine idea. I don't want us to get in a jackpot, that's all.
I think this, if it comes to light, I mean, I know there's a lot of conjecture about Cribbs Field, but if it comes to light that there's some covenant in the grant indenture that somehow prohibits it, that would take precedence until we are able to determine whether there's some legality that can get out of that covenant. So if you pass this ordinance and there's some prohibition from that at Cribbs Field, from the original grant, then we'll deal with that.
Okay, I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions? Okay, motion on the floor to advertise for this was made by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
That's it for me, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy.
Still working with Jerry on some things for the police, and it is National Police Week. I want to recognize that our police officers and make sure that when people see them, to make sure that they thank them for their work that they do, particularly this week.
This week?
This week. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Finance, budget grants, Mr. Suchovich.
Everything's been paid, everything's up to date, everything's, we got all our audits and everything done. I think we're in good shape.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Loalbo.
Park and Rick's update, the Movies in the Park flyer is out. There's going to be 3 movies. All movies this year are going to be held at Railroad Park. They're going to be on the Friday. The first one's June 7th, the Friday, July 12th, and Friday, August 16th. If it rains, they will be held inside, so we're not going to have a rain date like the following date. Last summer, I think we got, maybe 1 or 2 movies in because of all the rain and everything, and same with the past years. So this year, they'll all be down here, and if it rains, they'll be inside the Borough Building here. Also, we discussed about parks maintenance. Dom gave us good heads up with all the different, we had our priorities list with what needed done, down to the minute. So I know the road crew has been busy, in various areas, and
This rain isn't helping either.
No.
Not at all.
I know with Verona having their little field day coming up, hopefully the weather is good for them. They'll need hopefully the bathrooms and that will be up working.
Did they complete an application for that?
I haven't seen or heard anything. I don't know
They were
if Jerry.
supposed to come down today.
I'll check with Marcia. I'm
Okay.
not sure if they just came up. I don't know if they came up today or not.
Also, Paul Show from Penn Hills, he came down and did a little explanation for the pickleball. They would like to convert the tennis court into a pickleball court. The way the angle of the court is where they can actually get 4 courts playing at one time. And we can have it set up too where we don't have to get rid of the tennis court. The tennis court can stay, so if anybody wants to play tennis, we can. Looking at the cost of the equipment to buy the nets and the poles for it comes to, what was it?
1,500 and something and change, but not more than 1,600. It's like $1,595.
Right under $1,600, dollars. So that would be a cost on the borough to purchase these nets, if it's in our budget to do so. They are also offering to teach pickleball to whoever would be interested. It's an up and growing sport. They have a group of 100 people that play pickleball in various courts, mainly out in Monroeville or Murraysville, the Y out there. There really isn't anything local in Penn Hills, because I had asked them about Penn Hills. They said Penn Hills didn't want anything to do with it. So they felt our tennis court is underutilized, and this is a way of getting people to come and use it and go from there. So I'd like to make a motion, if possible. It's recommended by the rec board for council's approval. If we can go ahead and purchase the needed nets and poles to make for the pickleball court.
Okay, motion on the floor by Mrs. Loalbo for the purchase of net and poles for pickleball. Second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? I just have one. If they're going to teach it, do you think they would be open to like donations for their teaching and then use that donation money for?
It's possible. I could talk to Paul and see.
Any other questions?
I have one more.
Okay.
If we do pickleball, or a representative from Allegheny County, you've got to come down and play.
Say pickleball?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
P-I-C-K-L-E.
Yeah, it's like a,
I need to get a hearing aid.
You think?
well, it's like a wiffle ball. and it's
I
with
can
a
say
paddle,
this.
And they just,
I think that Janet's absolutely right. With the moving this community forward type view and the things that have been going on, I've got two brothers that live in Columbus, and they're into all this stuff. And both of their wives, both of my sisters-in-law, play pickleball all the time. They're always at the court playing pickleball. And I know that young people will get out there and will play. It's a big thing. And it'll attract people to the community.
Wonderful. Okay, motion on the floor by Mrs. Loalbo, second by Dr. Carpenter. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, I have a few items here. Excuse me. We're already going into the next quarter for newsletter, so if anybody has any ads or articles, we need them by June 14th. Also, maybe a lot of you don't notice, when you go up and down the streets, a lot of the street lights are burned out. When you see a street light that's burned out, it's very important that you call Duquesne Light, because for every day that that street light is off, we're paying anywhere from $1 to $5, depending on the location of that light and the wattage of that light. And I can remember when we had the Festival of Lights, which goes back a few years, I was very actively involved in that committee. And from getting all those lights that we got all over town, and we got quite a few of them, we did a huge Festival of Lights. And at that time, it was $1 a light, they told us, if you saw a light that was burned out. Whether it's burned out or not, we're paying. So Duquesne Light's number, if anybody wants to make note of it, is 412-393-7100. And you just call that number and it gives you prompts. And then a real person comes on and you just tell them where the light is and that it's burned out. We had a couple lights in our alley that were burned out. And I kept calling. I must have called 4 times. And finally I said, you know what are we paying because this light is out? And they said, it depends on the location and the light. And the alley that I'm speaking of is called Powerhouse Alley. It's right up from the power station. So I said, well then we're gonna have to start telling you when they're out. So when I see lights that are out, I make a note of it if I'm out and they're out. And I call in. So I would really ask that you people, please, if you see lights that are out, please call. It's not a hard thing to do because we're wasting money. It's foolish. And they will come and change them. And I will add, when we did the Festival of Lights, I remember it vividly. I was very actively involved in that. We closed the boulevard, the main core district, from center to south. We had a baby contest. We had a Miss Verona contest. I mean, we did so many things. It was absolutely wonderful.
In the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a kid, I remember that.
Yeah, me too. But it was really a wonderful thing that we did.
I've been around a long time, too.
And also, as Sandy mentioned, Give Back Day, yes, that was on Friday, March the 3rd. It was a very rainy day, and despite the rain, we had 16 students that came and 3 teachers, and they really worked. I think everybody did a wonderful job, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And I think special thanks need to go out to people who spearheaded this. It was Angela, Patty Tumanella, Bob Brayer was there. Bob even donated tools. Thank you very much, Bob, and I know you worked very hard. And Nancy was there also, and of course myself. And
It was all over, Sylvia. It was Jerry and Dom and Shirley.
I'm talking about the area that we worked, which was at the Memorial Steps, the Memorial Wall, the Veterans Wall,
Sidewalk.
and also the sidewalk on High Street. I was talking about the particular one that we were at, Sandy. I was not discounting anybody else. And we closed the day off with taking the students down here to the Borough Building, and we gave them all donuts, and they really enjoyed it. I thought it was very in order to give them a treat. They worked very hard. We were all covered in mud. It was quite a day, but it's beautiful and it's done, and I thank the people who did it.
They found a sidewalk they didn't even know existed.
Right. It was, the sidewalk was completely covered on High Street, and all that was just hanging right down. It was not a good situation. And Bike Derby, as Sandy mentioned, is going to be Saturday, June the 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and I am working on the donations. And hopefully I'll have a more complete report by workshop.
Did you send a donation letter out?
I have them, and I have been sending them out.
Okay.
There's some on the table,
I
too,
didn't get
if
one.
anybody would like to take one.
Hey, real quick, can I address the late thing, or ask a question on that, very briefly? Sure. When you were on council, weren't some of the Duquesne lights purposely shut off, so like every other one at one point, so that we weren't paying money on them? Didn't we do that to reduce costs?
Actually, what we did is Kevin Larkin and Peggy Suckerich and myself, we went around town, we actually marked them, and they eliminated the lights.
So they're no longer there. So if we look up and there's something out, it's actually out.
They removed the lights.
Yeah, they were removed.
So that's my question.
There's a number on the telephone poles too. You don't have to say 600, but you just get the number off the
I didn't
telephone.
want to delay it, but I just wanted to make sure that we weren't calling on something that we actually shut off. They actually...
No, they took them down.
Those were removed.
Yeah, great.
You're right.
Thank you.
I
That's all I need. That was my only clarification.
Okay. That's my report.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I will close, Sandy. If anybody would like to donate here to our bike derby, you can see Sandy, our chief, Officer Francos, or me. We'll be glad to take a donation.
And there are letters there, too, if you need referrals. Shirley, did you want to ask about the Cribbs Field, about this? Okay.
You know what, I got so carried away, I don't know what I did. But anyways, I had spoke with Janet Loalbo and explained to her what we would need from Cribbs Field, so it would work in case anybody else would be there. Our program runs from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. We do arts and crafts inside, so we do not need to field, like I told Janet, maybe for an hour in the morning, maybe for an hour in the afternoon. So anybody, and we will have our counselors with them and a senior counselor also that is over 21. So last year, when Presbyterian Church got flooded, our counselor, who is 21 years old, one of the older counselors, he is like a supervisor type thing besides an older lady and another older gentleman and myself, older. So he took the initiative to call us on the phone and say, why don't we go over to Cribbs Field, we'll put a tent up. His brother Chris orders the food from the county. He would order the food for a cold lunch. So we would go over to the field at 8:30, but only stay till noon. Let the kids, because kids can't run in a lot of hot weather, you know, and be playing in the sunshine, because what if something would happen to one of them? So we did that, but I thought it was a great initiative on a 21-year-old to do that. So it wasn't me that thought about it. So other than that, I had asked Janet for that field from June 17th through August 9th. And then also I had asked the borough if they would like to donate another donation like they did the years before. And I think the years before, they made a donation of $300 to the Twin Borough Health Ministry towards the summer camp. So that's been going on for at least, how long has it been since Rhoda's gone?
A couple years.
Okay, so it was, I know it was when Rhoda was here too. So it's been a lot of people that I dealt with, you know. So I can't think of anything else, but that's what I did want to ask. And I thought the cleanup day through Riverview School District was amazing. I had 6 boys that were 15 years old and a teacher, and I thought, oh my goodness. A few of the boys have special needs, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have never thanked teachers enough for what they do for these children, because I was crazy that day. But at the end, they did such a nice job. Nancy came by and showed me pictures of High Street, what they did. Mike Forbett went by, and I said, oh, you're going to help? And he said, no way, goodbye. Just kidding, of course. And I had offered to buy the boys, the teacher says, do not give them anything sweet while they're working. So I just gave them water and apples. So then when they finished, they had to be at Verona at 12:15. And so I offered to buy them each a hoagie. And so we took them over to Patsy's and they ordered a hoagie. The teacher that was there says, I can't let you do that. This is a give back day. I will make a donation of $50. So it was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion for the Twin Boroughs Health Ministry to utilize Cribs Field from June 17th through August 9th?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter. Second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Can I have a motion to donate to the Twin Boroughs Health Ministry $300 toward the summer lunch program?
Make that motion.
I wonder, would we be willing to increase that a little bit?
Can we do this motion first and then have questions? I mean,
Motion on the floor.
there's a motion on the floor, so.
I'll second.
Okay, who?
I made the motion.
Okay, Pat and Dom second.
Yes.
Now questions.
Well, it's not a question. I'm wondering if we could revise the motion to donate 500 instead of 300.
I think it's an excellent idea. I was going to do that myself, being that we've donated to the Community Day, which I don't have a problem with, for the entertainment of the town. This is food, and this is a necessity, and it's not the kids' problems why parents aren't budgeting for the food money in the household. So I would like to make the motion to...
Well, there's already a motion on the floor in a
Okay.
second, so would you like to ask whoever made the motion to amend it to 500?
Could you do that, Pat?
I'll make an amendment to make it 500.
Make a motion for $500.
Yes,
And second
There's
by
already
Mr. Conti.
There's already a second. It was
Okay.
by Ray, right? Would you amend your second, or who made this?
Dom, would you amend your...
No, Ray did.
Dom made it.
Dom did.
Ray did.
All right, Ray did.
Okay. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. In addition to that, I would like to pass the donation basket, since we have our county councilman here. I did this once before for the bike derby. And your cash donations will go to Shirley for the summer lunch program, the community dinners, the flea market, the clothing bank, the food bank.
I feel like I'm in church.
It is kind of, come back next, at the workshop, they'll be here for the bike derby too.
Shirley, I'll get you a check. I don't have nothing on me. I'll get you a check.
You know what, that's a good state question too, and it's something I talked with Jerry about. If somebody wants to make a check out to you, Twin Boroughs Health Ministry.
Just make it the Twin Boroughs Health Ministry and then a notation put for the summer camp. If anybody would just like to donate bread during the week of the summer camp or peanut butter, that's even fine. Anything they want to give, we will accept.
Okay. Jerry also said that it would be okay if anybody wants to make donations to drop them off down here at the Borough Building.
Yes.
And it'll go into an envelope, and then Marcia can give you a call. Okay? All right. And pass it that way, pass it that way.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. We are.
That's not right.
2 hours.
You want us to put a check in there?
No, I mean,
So is this for the bike derby or for both?
that's for Shirley Davis's summer lunch program.
Borough Health Ministry.
Okay.
Give Sylvia a check for the bike derby.
You can do, or give it to Jerry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Any comments from the special committees? Okay, council will now hear comments from the public on public-related items. Please approach the, okay.
Hold on. Just really, yeah, let's try. I've got some stuff here.
You're a communication specialist. You should be nicer to him.
Hard time.
You should be nicer.
Okay, so Carrie Del Rosso, I'm the PR person for the borough. Just a couple things I want to clarify. The school district put out another release last night that I worked on with Mike DeVittorio about the tax increase. They're hoping that they won't have to move it to that far and they'll have to scale back. There has been a lot of transactions this year within Oakmont and Verona, so we're hoping that that will save things and then you won't have to. There's also a couple of things that are predicted in terms of retirement. We'll probably know that in the next month or so, and hopefully before the June 10th meeting?
June 10th and then June 17th, I guess, is when
that they won't have to raise it to index. So I just wanted to clear up that, and I'm hoping for that too, because we don't want to raise the taxes if we don't have to. Give Back Day was extremely successful. It started off in the morning, Mayor Recupero was there, and then I had to run out, but we did a lot of press regarding Verner School. Verner Principal Marianne Plants is retiring. Dr. Monroe's moving in. There's been a lot of transition. The kindergarten orientation that went on at Verner was spectacular. A lot of people are really pushing towards Verona. So I'm very happy to see a ton of releases being done with Mike, and actually I've been working with Dylan Carr today as well. On Janet, on your note with pickleball, I did a release on January 23rd with Riverview School District, and we worked with a woman from Fox Chapel who's a pickleball ambassador. She gets grant funding for the pickleball equipment. She gave Riverview School District all of their equipment. I sent you the release just now, and I sent you her information. I can get you more information. I have had people in Oakmont coming up to me, they want a place to play pickleball. They went to our Oakmont Rec Board. The Oakmont Rec Board said they couldn't do it at Riverside Park because it would ruin the tennis courts. I encourage you to do it down at Riverbank because I think we can get people from Oakmont over here too. It's quick, and it's some of the aging population that really like this. So I think that it's good that we work in conjunction together. So you might not have to use your pot of money for that. So we'll try to get you some things.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm resourceful with that kind of stuff. So please use me if you can. In terms of the bike derby, I will be putting something out. There is a lot coming up this summer with the farmers market, and I just want to touch on that really quick, 2 minutes. Mike Forbeck and Patty Thomas have talked about this with the rec board. You might have more information, Dave, on this, or from the rec board meeting?
Sorry,
with the Verona's Farmers Market.
Mike was supposed to be
Yeah.
working with Jeremy on.
I'm gonna meet with Mike and we're gonna figure out a game plan.
Okay, so we just don't want that to fall
No,
through the
it won't.
wayside.
Will not happen.
The first food trucks is June 27th. We'll put out a release about that. We were able to secure a doo-wop band from East Air Township. It's a couple gentlemen that are actually, I think, on East Air Township's council, and Craig Alexander and Bruce Dyson Associates is going to pay for the band. So we're moving forward with that, and secured food trucks for that. So, anyone have any questions? Sorry to talk so fast, but we've been here for a long time. Thank you. Anything? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harry.
Okay, any others?
There was only one thing else I wanted to say. The post office in Verona did such an amazing food drive on Saturday.
Good.
Our church is filled and RCAC and Oakland is filled.
Wonderful.
Good.
That's great. Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn to exec session, and we have to come back?
We may, so we'll recess to exec.
We'll recess to exec session for return. Motion by Mr. Suckovic.
Second.
By Mr. Conti. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Sandy.
Yeah. Shirley. Shirley, you gotta take that. That's
Oh,
yours.
no, I wanted you to come, so I know.
Oh, my gosh.
Trust you.
I don't want to take something.
To the back.
Matt's wife's about to leave
Okay, can I have a motion to come back to order, please?
I'll make a motion to come back to order.
Motion by Mr. Conti, second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. So, President asked me to take over from here to let everybody know what we were talking about. We were talking about the various bids for the garbage contract and the awarding of the bids, and I went through what, being the lowest responsible bidder meant, and the options and everything with regard to that, similar to what we talked to out here. So a motion would be in order to award the bid to one of the bidders. My understanding is the lowest bidder was County Hall. The second lowest bidder was Swank. And the
Shank.
And the third lowest bidder was Waste Management.
Okay, I'll make a motion to award the bid to Connie Hauling.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Don't let us down.
Yeah.
Next motion.
We getting phone calls.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Mr. McCarthy, second by Mrs. Provenza. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed?
Don't do that to you.